Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving.
Good morning, everyone. It's good to see you all in a big group today. We hope everyone heard in advance last week or read online about the cancellation of the service. If you didn't, please let us know, because we want to make sure that we have communication with everyone in advance for cancellations. Thank you for those of you who are wearing your name tags. There are also temporary ones or ones for visitors, and I see folks have them. This is wonderful. We forget our names. It's so nice to be able to look someone in the eye and say their name and not be embarrassed. Today's service is a bit different from the normal. Today is our pledge drive kickoff with a theme of remembering, reflecting, and recommitting. Today we have many folks leading our service, including members of our UU board and one other, and I'd like to introduce them all to you so you know. They don't have to come up front. I'll ask them to please raise their hand when their names are mentioned. I'll point them out, and please turn around as your necks allow to see them. This light is blinding, so I can't see folks on this side. But first, Karen Clark. Where are you, Karen? Right there. Karen is a longtime member of our church, former moderator of our board, and she carefully tends the Pisca Fund, our discretionary fund, in the cloth bag on the back of our piano. And she sings with the Unitunes. Lee Griffith is a longtime member of our church and of our board. She has served in the past as clerk and a very long time as moderator. She sings with the Unitunes also. Christoph Liebrecht is way in the back. He's been a member of the board for some time. He is on the Buildings and Grounds Committee, and he videos our Sunday services. Mary Alice Mowry is a newer member of the church, well, not that new, 2019, and recently moved from the Trust Committee to become a member of the UU Board, where she now serves as treasurer. Tim McInerney, Mac, who is not here today, he is taking Diane to visit with family out in the Midwest. He's a newer member of the church and board and is chair of the Buildings and Grounds Committee. Ira Dyer is a newer member of the church and UU board, and he's now serving as our clerk. Catherine Harnish is the newest member of our board, also serves on the fundraising committee, co-chair of the Pledge Drive Committee, and leads the monthly trivia events. And we thank Catherine for planning and framing this service for us today. And I, Dale Houlton, also a newer member of this church, currently serve as moderator of the UU board, and I served a short stint as treasurer, which, thank God, Mary Alice and my prayers were answered. So we 8 church members make up your Unitarian Universalist church board. We meet monthly, and the minutes are posted in the coffee room. For the past several weeks, we have also been meeting weekly or bi-weekly for official online UU board training sessions from the National Unitarian Universalist Association to make sure we are on board, no pun intended, with the important and sacred work you have entrusted us with. Work that is on behalf of all of you and all of us. And last but certainly not least is Randy Bradbury, married to Ira. She is co-chair of the Pledge Drive Committee, member of the Fundraising Committee, and a member of the Trust Committee, which oversees all our investments. Now our service will officially begin. Welcome, friends. and I'm so pleased to have my oldest daughter, Dorothy, here with us today. She is a teacher, kindergarten teacher from Topsom, and she will join us for the potluck and then leave to go back home. Every one of you is a part of this church family, this beloved community. You each bring your own unique selves with your different personalities, different talents, gifts, abilities, different ideas and opinions, all of which come together to continue to build upon our strong foundation, which honors our faith ancestors of the past, helps us to live more fully in the present, and will pave the way into our future. Guided by our UU principles, which always hold love at the center, and guided by the Spirit, which lives and moves in all of us. So welcome, friends. Thank you for bringing the gift of your presence here today. And as mentioned, we will hear from several folks who will speak from their experiences, their hearts, and their hopes. And Catherine shared this with me earlier. In his 1849 account entitled A Week on the Concord and Merrimack Rivers, Henry David Thoreau wrote, quote, "The meeting of two eternities, the past and the future, is precisely this present moment," unquote. Let us open ourselves this morning to the now, this present moment, as we listen to, receive, and celebrate all that the others have prepared for us. And I've asked Bill White if he would light our chalice this morning. We light this chalice as a symbol of our continuing shared purpose of love and care. Thank you, Bill. And we will have a moment of centering silence. As you hear the singing bowl, which I've been told is tuned to our heart chakra, let us take deep breaths, let go of all that might be disturbing, and focus our thoughts on what is to be heard this day. Our opening song is number 114, Forward Through the Ages, and I'm sure many of you will recognize the tune. The words are written by a Unitarian. And please stand as you are able and if you wish to.
Who have we been? Well, I took that to mean give some history. And I came to this church in 1992, and at the time, members of the church, a lot of the members of the church were Liv and Mariah Putnam, Judge Archibald, Henry White, and lots of people from Ricker College, both students and faculty. And Sue and Bruce Glick also, and Michael Fasulo. And at any rate, at the time that I came, we were trying to find a minister. Our minister had left. I really don't remember his name. He was before my time. And we did a lot of lay-led services. And we had a church in the box, which is a collection of services, complete with sermons and hymns, readings, etc. And we did a lot of lay-led services also. I particularly remember one lay-led services led by an elderly woman who talked on the origins of Unitarianism and Universalism. And that came at a great time for me because I didn't know either. At any rate, my first Sunday, Reverend Don Rollins, he probably still is, an interim traveling minister. And at the time, he did 2 Sundays with us, 1 Sunday in Fredericton and 1 Sunday in Prince Edward Island. And one of his goals was to create a coffee house in every church that he served. And of course, he did that here. And that still happens. Fortunately, it's been great for us. Okay, and so after that, we still continue to struggle to find a minister. I remember at one point being at a meeting of members. We were gathering to try and find people to fill up the spaces, people to lead the services. And at that particular time, we didn't have someone to do the next service Sunday. And one woman announced that she had a list of supply preachers, and someone else said, "Oh, is there a woman on the list?" and she said, "Well, yes, Martha Newman." And so our moderator took the phone number and went into another room and called her, came back a couple of minutes later and announced to us that she's coming on Sunday, she's doing our Sunday service. And she did. And we loved her. We absolutely loved her. And so, of course, we got her coming back for a few more services. And then eventually she did become our regular minister, what do they call it? She became our regular minister for a while. And at any rate, but during that time we continued searching for a minister. And at some point in time, someone came up with the name David Hutchinson, and suggested that he could very well be our minister, that he lived in the area, which is a plus, and he also graduated from a seminary. So at any rate, we considered it, and he did some services, and little by little he got more active, and he wound up being mentored by Martha Newman to become our minister, and that's about where I stopped. And I give the subject. And I just wanted to mention also a few things. Nancy Harris was our piano player for a long time, and the hanging that's in the window, the front window behind the pulpit, was made by her, and we very much value that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Well, we moved to Houlton in 2001, and I said, okay, I gotta join as much as I can, to kind of get a feel for the community and build some new friendships and everything. So I joined the Quilt Guild and the chorus, and found, and I don't remember how I found them, but the Arista Cultural Arts Project, which was known as SACAP, and they didn't have a permanent location anywhere at that time, but in the summers they would run the Paint Houlton's Heritage, and artists would come from near and far, and it was over a weekend, and they would go out into the community and paint maybe a storefront or a church, or the library was a popular one, the courthouse, all different places in the area. And I was sitting in the temporary Main Street from storefront, and artists would bring in their work and get it up on the wall somehow, and even oil paints were wet, but people were buying them, and we had to explain, this is going to take over a week to dry, so don't put it face down anywhere, But it was really a popular thing, and I would sit there and I would take money and give paintings and all that, and there were several of us at a time there, and a couple of women finally asked me the question that people had been asking me for weeks was, have you found a church yet? And I was like, no. And so they asked the question, and I was like, no. And they said, you might like our church. A lot of people who go there. I go there, she goes there, she goes there. And I was like, where's that? And they said, the Unitarian. And I'm thinking, well, that's probably the closest to whatever I, could handle. So they said, well, come to the coffee house. So So I went to the coffee house, because I guess the coffee house was that weekend as well. So, and it was fun, it was not, it was like, oh, cool, this is nice. So we went to church the next day, and here we are. It was my first experience of the idea of a part-time minister, part-time lay led. I had never heard of such a thing before. And I was surprised to learn that this was kind of the norm for this church for a while. So the fact that the minister's services were not simply rehashed Bible quotes given a new spin was a big plus for me. It mirrored my own views on divinity, that it is in everyone and everything. My goal is to remember this at all times, which I find is not so easy to do. Dave's services taught me about the spiritual history of the church, and also taught me that growing up in Aroostook County was not so different from growing up in the more rural areas of Massachusetts. Yeah, they do exist. The main difference being that he had potato fields and we had apple orchards. The lay-led services taught me about the lives and passions of the other members and guest leaders, and I found myself looking forward to every Sunday. A few of the lay-led topics that I remember were Bruce Glick talking about his Zen retreats. Larry Tonzi would step in for the Sunday closest to April 1st. We had Joke Sunday, and everybody was expected to have a joke, and there was a, whoever got the most claps won the Emerson Cup. And I can't remember the quote from the Emerson Cup. Dave, do you remember what it is?
We still have it in the closet, as well as the list of winners, a plaque of each winner through the years. I will be sharing that in in 2 weeks service.
Okay.
I'll pull that out.
Great. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that service reenacted. It was fun. And I remember Mike Fasulo doing one on leaf mold and how that pertains to the church, and I can't tell you much more beyond that. And all of Bill White's multiple science-based, and how the science and the spirituality go together. I thought that was great. Yeah, and let's see. Okay, last bit. And as far as that goes, I think Ursula K. McGuinn summed it up perfectly when she said, "We live by stories, and the stories we choose make all the difference."
So thank you, Karen and Lee. What we wanted to do after each of these first two kind of storytelling sessions is spend a little bit of time as a larger group and reflect. That thing is so bright. But to give everyone an opportunity to share a little bit, whether you've been coming for a long time like Lee and Karen have, or whether you're new like myself. I think we all have stories about this place and about these people that move us, and we wanted to give folks an opportunity to share. So just to kind of start the conversation a little bit, how might thinking about some of these stories and the stories that you might share help us think about our future together? What do those stories tell us? And I love hearing about the history of the cup. I had no idea that was something that started with a traveling minister.
The coffee house.
Yeah, thank you, the coffee house. And for those of you who were here 2 Saturdays ago, was it last Saturday? Gosh, see what happens when you skip a week of service? I get all confused. It feels like it's been months since I was here. But the Cup Cafe event last Saturday night was just such a warm and welcoming and fun evening. It was fantastic for those of you here. So I don't know if other folks have thoughts, reflections that they want to share, and think about how the experiences that you've had in this place keep bringing you back, and will hopefully keep bringing you back in the future. And please don't be shy. Oh, I can't see you for the light. I can't see you.
Yeah, I was here early on in the 90s and then moved away for a while and came back. So I have some memories from way back, but what I just want to comment on is how Dave and this church has held space, not always in the church services, but outside for activities that a lot of people have enjoyed, like drumming. There was a men's group, Apple Day, and people from different communities came to here and interacted. And in the last couple of weeks, I live in New Brunswick, I've been hearing from people over there about, oh, Dave is leaving, and some reminiscing about what's happened. And one of the people I talked to was Stu Fleischacker. We would come over and do contra dancing decades ago, and Stu in New Brunswick has been responsible for developing an organic grain market, growing and selling. But he came over here, Mitch Lansky, who was a defender of forests in Maine. His face was here too. Cups. Covenant of UU Pagans, we had some awesome programs decades ago in the parlor here. But so many things happened because of the space that we held. This church has been like an outlier type church in terms of the greater community in Houlton, but I think it's been an inspiration for people, and we've ended up here because of all the different types of events that have occurred here, and the creative people who've been through this space, both in the sanctuary and outside. And that's it. Thanks.
Thank you, Nancy. Dale.
Try to make this short. I'm a retired congregational minister. We had a church on High Street, and when we had to sell it, we got too small. We thought we were done. So we went home for 2 months. Our spirit moved us and said, no, you need to gather. So we talked to David, and he offered this space for a tiny little rent that we could come Sunday afternoons right after church. And it was so welcoming. Bill White always made sure there was fresh coffee for the Congregationalists every week. And then David ended up, we couldn't afford to hire even part-time. David said, use local ministers because they're done with church. So we did that. David preached for us once a month, then twice a month, and then he did our bulletin, sort of became our administrator, and it was just wonderful. And then when we had to disband, because there were so few left, we had a service in the sanctuary, and this church put on the most awesome reception for us, the most beautiful table spread and food that you could imagine. It was so loving. And the few of us left, Congregationalists, have joined the Unitarian Church. This is home.
I was thinking about this earlier. When did the Congregationalist Church sort of disband and
Was it
join
David,
ranks
do you
here?
remember? I have no memory anymore.
All the dates blur, but we can research it and,
Okay,
and find
super,
it.
super. Thank
Yeah.
you.
We started out together as denominations, and then Unitarians broke off because we were too conservative. But we're learning, and now we're here.
We're glad that you're here.
I remember when the Cup Cafe was envisioned by Dave, and maybe 2012, I don't know what year, that
It
was.
ranged from talks about it in 2009 until we finally slowly opened in 2012.
Yes.
It took that long to generate the committees and ideas to
No,
pull
it
it off.
was a storeroom down there, and it was always closed off, and it was dark, and before we knew it, Dave had cleared it, and it seemed like he was doing all the work himself, maybe not, but he cleared it out and painted. I can remember him painting the walls bright color and getting pictures hung, and we secured the coffee machine, and look what it has become. I mean, we struggled in those early days. It became Friday night pizza night once a month, and that was a delight. It brought everybody together, and we created the strangest pizzas, like pie mixed with peanut sauce, bacon and tomato pizza. I mean, they were crazy, but we had a fabulous time, and Sue Click and I were really involved with that. And then a coffee house that kept going on, but the cup has, now I see what it has become, and it's just such an integral part. We can always depend on baristas being there to serve us, and it's so, we're so grateful for it.
Thanks, Lee. Krista?
Hi, when Lee mentioned there's sort of a greeting when you move here, we moved here like 6 years ago, 7 years ago, and the greeting was always, for Donna and me, what, you moved from Florida? And then the next greeting was, what church? And like what Lee said, you know, we took our time. But we were so lucky that our next door neighbors who are here today, Mary and Marion, asked us also, just come by, we're gonna have fun, and we did. We had a fabulous time, and it was very good. And Marion was, at that time, in charge of buildings and grounds. And he taught me so much about this building until it started to talk to me. All these people from 2003 onwards, when this church was rebuilt immediately after the fire that took down the whole neighborhood and took down the church when it was around the corner from here, it really, this place talks to me and talks to us. And so I am just truly grateful to be here and to have this and the organ, and I'm just at home here. And being at home here, I think, is really important. And that's because of all of you, and because of our grand building and what we have here in Houlton. Thank you very much, all.
So I know that we could go on and on and on, and it's probably a good thing that this is our potluck weekend afterwards, so hopefully there will be some more sharing and storytelling, whether individually at tables or maybe even folks will be moved to stand up and tell some more stories to the whole group. So with that, we're going to kind of shift gears a little bit, and I think we have our offering and a hymn, and I think Dale's going to come back up. We practice this over and over and over again for these seamless transitions. So.
There are many ways we give to the church: our time, our talents, and our treasures. And as you know, if you have a house or rent an apartment, it takes money to keep a building going and good repair. Many of us give once a year, twice a year, monthly, weekly, whenever. So I have invited Brenda, right, to please receive our offering this day. And if you have an offering to give, she will go around and with gratitude receive your offerings. And may these offerings received today serve many needs. I'm going to play a little Thanksgiving hymn on the Sunday on the piano. This is Thanksgiving Sunday. And then the Unitunes will be gathering up their music and singing for us a Thanksgiving piece.
Good thing you mentioned I was doing this because I'm
Sorry, I should have passed you the plate then.
is all together.
It's all the same.
We sing in praise of sunshine. We sing in praise of rain. The seasons cycle round us, and we are whole again. Laudate, laudate, laudate omnia. Cantate, cantate, cantate gratias. This gift of life is wondrous, ere long or short our days. We celebrate each passage with songs and words of praise. Laudate, laudate, laudate omnia. Cantate, cantate, cantate gratias. Our joy and sadness weaving, life's fabric now appears. In rainbow hues and textures, a tapestry of years. Laudate, laudate, laudate omnia. Cantate, cantate, cantate
I neglected to mention on the back of the piano, the pishka and the little green can for the organ and the ceramic container for extra building fund money. So people are always welcome to give extra into that, which many of you did today. Thank you.
Oh, what a fun morning we are having. So, Matt was going to be standing next to me, and I'm trying to figure out how to stand so that I'm not in the light there. Oh, my heavens. As Catherine has said, Matt is on his way with Diane, with his family, and I will say a little bit of reflections from him. And reflections on who we are today. And what is this lovely part is there is so much about who we are today that resonates with who we were yesterday. And it gives me hope and joy and smiles about who we will become in our next, however we keep moving forward in this very, very old congregation, this very, very old building that is filled with so much. And we are this small, ever-growing, strong Unitarian Universalist community. And at the heart of all of these experiences, I just love that we have this
these values, we have these traditions as Unitarian Universalists for something that we can strive for, something that we may never actually get to be 100%, but here we are, all vibrating together in terms of these values, that we get to bring our whole selves here. How many people have said this is home? We get to be our whole self. We get to bring a questioning, doubtful, embracing whatever kind of mind along with our hearts here. And this congregation, it is this constant, since the first day that I've walked in here, that there is this sense of this could be a place of belonging for me. That this could be a place that I not only felt welcomed for who I was, but I learned about belonging and welcoming of who you are and who we all are. And it is not an easy little road around this love at the center. Lee talked about how you could have these values and boy, we could fall short, but we keep coming back. We keep coming back. And my stories are less about a particular moment here when I was welcomed, when I felt at home. I have felt as this congregation has unfolded together with revised Unitarian Universalist values, that here is this entity, this national vibrational hub of the Unitarian Universalist Association that every 4 years revisits who we are, revisits how we want and who we want to become. And we've been spending the last year and a half learning about these little tweaks in our values. And I just brought up to show, and they're on the back. Here's just beautiful little things about love is at our center, and our values of pluralism, transformation, interdependence, justice, generosity, and equity. And we've heard these stories already today, and who's been up here and who is sitting out there. And I know that we are in this period of transition once again. And we've been hearing about stories of this is not the first time that a transition has occurred, but it is who we are and what we are bringing forward. I remember in 2019 when I came and I heard from many people, who some of you are sitting here today, how strained and how difficult it was to imagine continuing to go forward because it felt hard. It felt small. It felt like what we were was slipping away and we hadn't quite grasped onto, and who are we now? And I will say, since those times in 2019, I have watched us all become who we are. And with that, I just want to say I've not only felt welcomed here, but I do continue to learn each week about how I can welcome you and how I can both have love for myself and love for you at the center. Thank you.
Mary Alice. So, in reflecting on what Mary Alice shared, reflecting on what others have shared, where do you see energy and renewal in our congregation? It's an interesting one for me being new, but I feel the energy. I feel that vibration that Mary Alice talked about. So thinking about right now, where do you feel that spirit among us?
From everybody.
From everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in different ways.
Yep. So, I know for me personally, it was hard to walk in the door just about a year ago for a whole variety of reasons that some of you know about. And I'm so glad to be here and to have been embraced and welcomed and asked. I think asking is such a big thing. Asked to step up, to be on the board, and welcome when I say, hey, I have an idea. Let's do trivia. Or let's do this thing that might seem crazy at first. So I know that's something that I really value about this space and about the people. We'll talk in a little bit about, in the announcements, about an event that's coming up called the Common Table, and we'll share more. But I think that, that's something that very much is embracing who we are and extending that outward and sharing that with the community. So when we talk about that a little bit later on, you'll see some ways that I think the church is really realizing itself and bringing everyone together to create something that's meaningful, not just to us, but to community as well. Other comments from folks?
My take is, I live 20 minutes away. It's like, oh, you can have all these excuses why not to come, or, it's snowing or whatever. But one day I thought, well, what if Dave was there and nobody showed up? Like, what if I wasn't the only one that didn't go? And so I thought, well, I at least go for Dave. But it's like, I kind of feel like just you're going for everybody. And sometimes I think, well, I don't know if I'll go. And it's like, I feel like if I come, somebody might need me for something. Like that, if I can give something or just whatever. So I it makes you feel needed and you feel like you're giving. And so I'm just always hopeful that more people will come, and I feel bad when I don't come, So that's kind of why I'm here, I guess. It's just for everybody else, and just for the church and good people that come. So,
Thanks, I love that.
yeah.
I love that. Others?
I would just say, it seems to me, my feeling is that we've all fallen upon something that has been very, very amazing from the beginning. We're mostly new people, and I'd almost, if there's, like to hear from one of the people who's been around, because I think that my impression is that it's been amazing for many, many years, and we are benefiting from that amazing, those amazing people that had the thoughts of being like we are, like covenant versus creed, and I think we're understanding what those predecessors knew a long time ago, and I feel that's where I'm at.
I agree. I think that, it's constantly evolving and changing and growing and learning from the past and learning from who's here. And I think that that's one of the beautiful things about this place, that every time we walk in the door, there are different people here and it's a different experience. And but it's all built on a foundation that persists. Steve? I think Steve, and then I'll come back to you. Sorry.
I moved back to Houlton to be close to family, and I'm someone who, since I've been 18 and left home, ran away from churches. And my landlord, Plum Barnes, I rented a house from him, I think he identified things and said, maybe you don't blend here. You need to be part of Dave Hutchison's crew at the Unitarian. I didn't have to sign on the line about any dogma or anything. I just came here. And so I really enjoy it, and I love this building. It's comfort to me. I love our traditions, the coffee house, and so on. But the thing that's, I think, is so important is the welcome that's printed here. The fact that you can be here with like-minded people, some people who are not like-minded, and it's so accepting, and I think that's the really important thing we do here is welcome people. I have been to our monthly LGBTQ meetings, luncheons downstairs, and seen young people who are questioning feel like they have a safe place. And elders who have a safe place and friendship. The second thing I wanted to mention is I've made my friends in Houlton through this church. I appreciate that. But the lay services, as well as those led by the ministers, we've gotten to know so much about each other, how we think, where we have areas of interest or expertise. And to me, it's the friendships and the learning about each other on a deeper level that is what really holds us, this love at the center that we should have.
Thanks, Steve. And I learned from you about the appropriate posture and conformation of a mortgage horse, and who would have ever guessed? Right.
I just have thought we should also make mention of the person here in our congregation who has been here the longest. Although the person had left when he married a congregational minister, and but then came back again, Jim Houlton, it's great to have Jim back with us also.
I wish y'all could have seen Dale's face. When you stole him away. So just in the interest of time, we can again continue this conversation. I do want to ask Randy, who is my co-chair for the Pledge Committee, to come on up and talk a little bit about the pledge. Dale billed us as the pledge service, and we haven't talked about it yet, so we'll have Randy come up. Thanks.
Thanks, yeah. First, I want to thank Catherine. Most of you have probably already received in the mail your pledge letter. We were going to launch this last week, so the letters went out prior to that, and then we had the snowstorm. So the mail got delivered, and you had no clue it was coming. So I have 2 minutes, and I'm going to make the most of them. Catherine approached me. She read my first draft. She approached me and offered me help, and boy, did I need it. Thank you, Catherine. She can produce these things. Look, this would have taken me like 2 months to do. This is not something that is a skill set for me. So I just want to acknowledge and thank Catherine for putting her efforts into this. One of the things you'll notice in the new pledge letter is the pledge card, and on it there is the opportunity to do online and credit card, which we've not done in the past. I personally am going to be doing it that way because it allows me to budget more appropriately, but it also allows for the tracking more easily. And I get air miles, so why wouldn't I? I am, by the way, what the board would call the closer. I'm up here to ask you for your commitment. And, you know, the building is gorgeous. Somebody referred to the building. The building is gorgeous, but this is a building on the National Historic Register. And when you think about that, the maintenance that it takes to keep a building like this in shape is not minimal. So while the building needs tending to, and that's part of what we do with our pledge, we need tending to. And that's the other part of what we do with our pledge. So today, what I'm asking is for everybody just to consider what is your opportunity and your ability to help support something that you love and care about. We have a lot of new things moving forward because we're in transition. Our budget is only currently being established. You know, we won't know what our budget is until we get into December and then through into March. And this is a big part of what our budget will become. So please consider it not just from tending to the building, but tending to your heart. Because no matter what theology or background you come from, there is a generosity model that's built into every single spiritual theology that you could participate in. I happen to come from that manifesting background where generosity breeds generosity. So the more generous you are, the more it will come back to you. So that is just how I operate. It's not necessarily how the rest of you do, but there is always a return on that investment. So that's how I'm going to leave it. Now I did notice Tim has put our board together, and we've already hit. Now this just went out a week ago, and we've already hit the halfway, a little over the halfway mark. So thank you, thank you, thank you. If you're in this room, you know how important your work is to what we need to do. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. If you did not get a letter, it's because we don't have your address, or I haven't quite figured out the Canadian mailing system. I'm looking at you, Nancy, because every year, well, 2 years in a row now, I send hers out and it comes back because I forget they have a different postage need. So I will catch up with you later. But if you didn't get one, I do have some, and it's because we don't have your proper mailing address, and I think that would also be Laney and John because I have your Bar Harbor address, so I will make sure you get one today. And yes, Mary Alice.
I just want to make a little clarification. I think that Tim put 15,000 on there as an absolute affirmation. We're not there yet.
Oh, we're not there yet?
No, we're not there yet.
Shame on
I don't
you.
want anyone to think that we've all miraculously gotten to 15,000.
Okay, so what this means, everybody, is put your foot on the gas pedal.
Thank you. Are we good with that? Good. We want Matt to feel really good about
Yes,
that.
yes, we do. Because last year, as you know, last year you guys exceeded our goal, and that was just a spectacular feeling for all of us. So I won't belabor it because I know we have hot food downstairs waiting on us, but we will have lots of opportunity to fellowship together. And for those of you that are new, or maybe you've only been to one or two of our services, this is not the normal service. We don't normally break it up like this. Normally it would be just a single lay-led or minister-led service. But today was our pledge, so please, if this is your first meeting with us, come back. I guarantee it'll be much more entertaining. And we won't ask you for money every single time. All right? Catherine, do you have anything to add to the pledge?
No, I think you did a great
Did
job.
I cover it?
You covered everything.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, singing is good for the body and soul. Hymn number 121, please remain seated. And because we're running a little late, we'll sing it joyfully and a little faster. 121.
people we see. Come to the land where sisters and brothers, united by God, can create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream.
We want to thank everybody for tuning in today. If you'd like to show your support, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel if you're not already subscribed, and help us out by sharing this message by clicking the share button. If you'd like to make a monetary donation to you, Church Houlton, there is a link to our online donations in the video description down below. And again, thank you so much and have a blessed day.